Good evening. This video is for my Jewish brothers and sisters. It's a bedtime story for you. Who are we as Jews? Who are we? It's important to remember that we seek the divine. We study, we research, we learn. We have a common history, we have a common culture and literature, rituals and practices, but we don't require people to believe in specific things. Why? Because we understand that everybody is on a journey. Everybody is an individual within a community, and our origin story is about a seeker, someone who left home because he was called to investigate, to experiment, to question, to learn, more than what he was given from his home. To take that and also to go forth, right? To go forth into new worlds, new lands, and to find the divine, right? So that's who we are. We have this very rich history, but we are also seeking always the divine experience of the divine, understanding, and knowing that we're never going to come to like a complete understanding because we're human beings, and we have limitations. We want to get as far as we can go, and within that we appreciate diversity, appreciate people who come to the divine in different ways, different religions, different ideas, different practices, really value difference. We never impose our own history or practice or understanding of the divine onto others. Do not do that. That's why there's so few of us, because we're not missionaries in terms of the value system that we have. It's not a missionary value system because everybody has their own path. Somebody wants to join us, you're welcome. It's not easy. We try to dissuade you. We're not looking for that, which is why there are, under 16 million Jews. I mean, there are other reasons why there's so few of us, but it's because we are not colonizing people. We're not looking for that. So that's something to be proud of. And it's also something to be proud of, not to repeat ideologies that you don't truly believe, or that don't sit well with you, just to belong, right? Just to belong, or just to be cool, or not to be abused. I mean, one can understand why people don't want to be abused or don't want to be left out. But, that's not the concern. The main concern is that you are authentic, that you are honest with yourself about what you know and what you don't know, and that we don't adopt, other people's notions about the divine or about ourselves or about history just to fit in. So that's who you are. And there's a lot to be proud of with that. And so tonight, I want to inspire you with some of our literature. One thing I love about our literature is that the characters are imperfect. All of them are. Everyone has something that they can improve upon. Everyone has a vice. Everyone has an Achilles heel. Everybody is struggling with a tendency that doesn't really work for them, whether, it's an insecurity or a desire or, a character trait, whatever it is, it's not evil. We don't believe in the power of evil. Do not believe that that is a power in and of itself. We do believe that there is room to grow, right? We make mistakes, and mistakes are completely fine. And those are our heroes. Our heroes make the biggest mistakes and then learn from them and then grow, right? We cannot learn without making mistakes. It is impossible. Nobody learns by success. Like, oh, I just knew every single thing what to do and everything worked out for me the first time I tried it, and it's just, that's, a testimony to my greatness. Not at all. Success is static in a way. It's a static experience. It's, you get like a high from it, you feel good. It's important, to feel, certain kind of efficacy, certain kind of productivity in the world, that you feel like you can accomplish things. But it's not where you stay. It's not where anyone stays. We're all on a journey, and you must falter, and it's part of being a human being. And it's good. It's good. And those are the heroes of our Torah, of our literature. So I want to end with a bit of one of my favorite stories. It's in Shmuel Aleph, Perek Yud Zayin. I'm going to read from the middle of the chapter, which is like 37. So Samuel 1, chapter 17. And it's a beautiful story. It's just an amazing story for its character depth and the language and the content and the description and, the emotion of it. I mean, it's just a great story. It's a great story. And it's about young King David. So I'm going to read it in the Hebrew. I'll translate some for those who are interested. And my eyesight isn't great, and it's very hot, so all the lights are like dim. And my son has friends here, so I'm trying to keep everything cool as possible. Okay, so here we go. Vayomer David, Adonai asher hitzilanu miyad ha'ari umiyad hadov, hu hitzilani miyad ha'plishti hazeh. So the story about David and Goliath, David and Goliath. And David said, Adonai, which is one of the names of God, the Tetragrammaton, and it's past, present, future, contracted, it's all one. So we don't have many theologies, we really don't. There's a whole Kabbalistic system, there are different arguments about the nature of God, what God is. It's very debated, but one sort of unifying theology is this oneness of God. What that means is, to be discovered. It's not something, oh yeah, I get that. No, we are all one, it's true. But what does that mean when we see, that we have so much difference and free will and choice? And so there are all these, contradictions, right, to this oneness. But this name of God is an indicator of this oneness. Past, present, and future is all now. It's all one thing. What that means, I have no idea. It's to be explored. But that's the name that David evokes here. So David says, Adonai, this name of God, who saved me from the lion, from the bear, he will save me from this Philistine, the Plishtim. Now the Plishtim are these ancient polytheistic people who actually immigrated to the Levant from Crete. Like, there's all this archaeological evidence and study of ancient Levant. It's fascinating, and you should study it. It's really amazing. Vayomer Shaul el David, Lech v'Adonai yihiyeh imach. So Shaul, who's the king at the time, he's the first king of Israel, he says to David, go, and God will be with you. This God. V'albei Shaul et David midav v'natan kova nechoshet al rosho v'albeish oto shirion. So Shaul gives him all this armor and a helmet of copper and a shield, and he's like laden down with all of this garb, this military garb. V'yachkor David et charbo me'al madav v'yoel alechet ki lo nisah. V'yomer David al Shaul lo uchal alechet be'eleh ki lo nisiti. Ve'yisirem David me'alav. So David, puts all this stuff. He's like, and he can't walk. He's a small. He's very petite. David. He's not this huge man. He's kind of a small man, and so all of this, military garb is preventing him from moving very well. He can't move in it, so he takes it all off. Okay. Ve'ikach mikalo biado, and he takes a stick in his hand. Ve'yivchar lo chamisha chalukei avanim, and he chooses 5 smooth stones min hanachal, from the stream. Ve'asem otam bakeli haroim asher lo u'bialkut v'kalu biado begash el plishti. So, he puts these 5 stones in his shepherd's purse, and he takes his staff and he approaches the Philistine. Ve'elech haplishti holech karev el David, and the Philistine is walking closer and closer to David. Va'ish noseh hatzina lefanav ve'abeit haplishti vayare et David ve'yivizehu ki haya na'ar v'admoni im yefeh mar'eh. So when the Philistine sees him, he's like, oh my God, because here's this lad. He's a na'ar. He's a young man. He's a redhead, admoni. He has red hair, and he's pretty. He's like a pretty boy. He has a pretty face. So he starts making fun of him because he's so, non-threatening looking. Vayomer haplishti el David, hakelev anochi ki ata ba elai b'makalot. So the Plishti says to David, what am I, a dog, that you're going to come at me with sticks? Because he has a stick in his hand. V'kalel haplishti et David, and the Plishti curses David, ve'elohav, in the name of his God. Now that's a question, his God. Whose God is he cursing? David, right? In whose name is he cursing David? V'yomer haplishti el David, Lecha elai, come here. So Goliath, this Philistine, tells David, come here. He says, get over here. Ve'atna et besarecha la'of hashamayim u'levehemat hasadeh, and I'm going to give your flesh to the birds of the sky and the beasts of the field. Okay. Ve'yomer David al haplishti. So David tells this Philistine, Ata ba'elai b'cherv u'b'chanit u'b'chidayon V'anochi ba elecha b'shem Adonai Tzevaot Elohei Marachot Yisrael asher cherafta. Okay, here's the key. So David says to this Philistine, you come to me with this sword and spear and shield, but I am approaching you with words, with the name of God of hosts, who you just insulted. That was a mistake. Okay. Hayom hazeh yisagercha Adonai biyadi, v'kita v'hasiroti et roshecha me'alecha, v'natati pegar machaneh plishtim. Hayom hazeh la'of hashamayim l'chayot hasadeh, v'yed'u kol ha'aretz ki yesh Elohim liYisrael. Okay, I'm gonna let you read that on your own. Basically, he's threatening him right back, right? He's saying, you say you're going to do that to me, I'm going to do that to you. Ve'edu kol ha'kahal hazeh ki lo b'cherev u'v'chanit yoshia Adonai, ki l'Adonai ha'milchama, v'natan etchem biyadenu. And all of the congregation, everybody gathered around here, will know. David, little tiny David, is telling this giant, right, that it is not by the sword or by the spear that God, our God, saves. Ki l'Adonai ha'milchama. I'm not going to interpret that. I'm not going to do that. But that's the key. Lo b'cherev u'b'chanit yoshi Adonai. Ki l'Adonai ha'milchama. V'natan etchem biyadenu. Okay, I'm not going to interpret that either. It's a wonderful story. You can read it by yourself. It's open source, open access. It's just the language is very layered, and so I don't want to provide like one interpretation, But that's the bedtime story. So what's the lesson? What's the inspiration here? The inspiration is that as Jews, right, historically, we do not rely on weapons, right? We don't do that. And we don't profess to know God and push it down anybody's consciousness, not at all. But what we do is we believe what we think is powerful. What is the power of our peoplehood it's in the word. It's in ideas. It's in the seeking. It's in the seeking of the divine. It's in the names that we have discovered about the divine. The ideas that we have already discovered, that we hold close to our hearts, that we love, and that we talk about amongst each other and whoever else is interested, but also sharing, right? Sharing ideas, not being certain. And it's this notion of oneness. And so we don't really rely on militarism. Ki l'Adonai ha'milchama. And we have to remember that. And when we remember that, we're not going to despair, and we're not going to say, we're going to maintain the path of authenticity and of honesty and of growth and of appreciation of difference and of understanding and of truth. Stick to what you know to be true, and we will be fine. So, if you despair, feeling a bit, sad or despairing about the world, and especially if you're, hooked into this whole online, a fiasco, really. I suppose it's useful for certain things, but certainly not if you're seeking truth, right? Truth is much more difficult than that, and it's much, it takes a lot of work. It's not just like scrolling and seeing something that makes you upset and deciding the entire story based on, what you've seen. You have to look. You have to look into things. You have to seek out true journalism, which is unfortunately difficult to find in these times. Perhaps it was always difficult to find, I think probably. But seek out, teachers, be a seeker, and we're going to be fine. We've been through hard times before, and it's possible that things will get worse. It is possible. It's probable. But you take care of your families, you make sure you don't leave anyone behind, and, you do what you need to do to protect your families. And it's going to be fine, and blessings to everyone. Keep learning. It's another thing. If you do fall into despair, there are many things to do. You can feel it, but you must find your joy, no matter what. And a few ways to do that is to, number one, connect to nature. So you go to water, go to the ocean, the beach, parks, and, hang out with the trees and the flowers. Just be amongst the natural world. Be with the natural world. Let it into you. The other thing is to keep studying, to keep learning, to keep, growing physically. Not only, reading and, reading, writing, yes, but you must learn with your body. You must. So that could be martial arts. I really highly suggest that. Of course, there's Krav Maga, which is wonderful, very practical. But, there's also the deeper arts, which, there's Tai Chi Chuan, which is Chinese martial art. And Professor Chen Menqing brought Tai Chi to the United States, if you're here in the United States. I believe it was in the 60s, but there are many students of his here. It has many benefits. There's a health benefit, there's a martial arts benefit, and there's a meditation benefit to that practice. So get into it, study, go to classes, practice. Another martial art is Aikido, which I think is very valuable because it teaches you what to do with energy that is coming at you, all kinds of energy. And I believe it's really a nonviolent martial art. Choose the nonviolent martial arts. In other words, the martial arts that are protective, that are, not seeking to make a big statement, but are even more effective because of that. And breathe. It's all going to be okay. Empathize with others. Connect. Community. Your own communities, we have an array. We have from, renewal, reconstructionists, Jew, Jewish Buddhists. We have all the different flavors of Orthodoxy, modern Orthodox. We have Hasidus. All the different, Hasidic families that have different kinds of teaching, the Baal Shem Tov, we have, Vishnitz and Klosenberg and, the Kutzker teachings and all these communities that focus, Rabbi Nachman, Breslov, all of these beautiful, different communities. Renewal, I think I said that, reform, conservative, whatever you feel drawn to, there's a community there. Remember, diversity, that's who we are. As Jewish people, we are diverse within ourselves, and we appreciate others. Learn about other people's cultures if they'll have you, and if they don't have you, use that as a way to grow. If someone rejects you, rejection is the best thing, because then you really get to, sit with and work on those very deep emotions and that are yours, and you get to shape them and transform them and feel their power and decide what you want to do with it and move through it and feel the change of emotion, that you're not stuck, that things do pass, and that you survived it, and that you learn, and to learn something from it. What have I learned from this? So every experience is valuable. Laila Tov, so much love, and we're going to continue with Judas Iscariot soon as I am able. Okay, bye for now.